Good. Carl Fechner. So just to get things rolling, I wonder whether I remember the difference in tone between this film and your film of 6 years ago correctly. Maybe just move a little this way, Carl, so there's more light on you. You seemed a little more frustrated in this film. So could you talk about the difference you think between now and when you made the previous one?
No, I'm not frustrated. I believe, I beg you. I mean, this film does not show a frustration. This film shows, let's say, a little bit more, perhaps, the reality. Of course, yes. In 2010, when we did this other film, they were very much more enthusiastic. Just in Germany, I don't know if it's different. In other countries, there's a lot of moving and all that. In my country, too. I mean, we have replaced 1/3 of electricity coming out of fossil. Now it is replaced by renewable energies. And this is done by the people, by investment of people. This film, okay, I believe that I should show, let's say, the struggle. Yeah, it's not only rose. The question, the temperature or the color of the film is not rose. I mean, it is clear that we are in a final discussion, a final fight. We really have to fight for that, but we are able, we can do that. And it is an invitation. It is an invitation to do that because it is very, this vision is very wonderful and from the deep of my heart. Yeah, I am part of this. I'm living in a plus energy house. Once you're living therein, you enjoy that you only take 10% of the normal of the energy. Yeah, I'm driving an electric car, a BMW i3. Yeah. It's a wonderful car. You never change back. So everybody who can, this is one part, several others too, but I can invite you to join it and to decide to do that. That's the idea. Long answer.
Okay, very good. Questions, yes. And we've got a problem with the mic, so I'm not sure where that's coming from. Maybe if we just move out of the way. Yes, please.
First, welcome to Vancouver. Tausend Dank für den. I have that's not a question so much as just a request for your comments. One of the issues here, I'm not sure how much you know about North America, I think probably quite a bit. Quite apart from sort of the standard issues of big money like the Koch brothers and local plants, like we have information outlets here, Fraser Institute and others who kind of crank out misinformation with a great deal of money behind them. We have as you know, a sinister moron running to run the country next door at the moment, implausibly but very, very unsurprisingly powerful and very much against the kind of things you're talking about. What I'm trying to get at, though, is along with all that, which one assumes we can deal with, it'll be gone in a few years. We also have a financial system which people don't really spend much time thinking about, but our financial system in Canada at least, and I suspect more countries than we like to admit, is totally dependent on the same industry. So when in Germany you've got that influence striking back, people working hard to stop and reverse the Energiewende.
Question.
You'll get there.
How do you deal with that? How do you deal with the financial system that is totally dependent on the current hydrocarbon energy system?
You see, this problem is going around the world. Yeah, we have, but if you recognize that we have only 20 companies in the world are responsible for 3/3 of the CO2 exhaustion. Isn't it crazy? 20 only. Yeah, and those are not in Canada and those are not in Germany. They are in Saudi Arabia, most of them. But all of them, no, nearly 18 of them are in this in the energy production system. Yeah, so you see where you just have, let's say, to put the focus in. Yeah, 2 of them are in the aluminium, by the way. Yeah, so you see that around the world, and that's our idea was to show in the film, to show, let's say, something like prototypes. Yeah, prototype protagonist. So we have seen that in the first screening outside of Germany, and it was in Iran. Yeah, in Tehran, which was very, very interesting. And there was a debate like that, and there 2 men stand up and said, "Oh, this Eddie Kraus, he is my brother. I'm like him." It was very, very nice to see that. And that is on this subject too. I mean, we have this corruption system, we have this lobby system. It is perhaps a little bit, but the system is the same. And that's why I say the solution for that is the same. I count on the people. To be honest, I count on the people. That means, that's why we call that energy of rebellion. And I'm in Germany, I was part of the German peace movement in the 80s. And I can very good remember this East German peace movement, so-called. There were 5 people sitting there, were very frustrated. We have had already very big demonstrations against American Pershing II missiles, yeah, atomic missiles. And they were sitting there and say, okay, but we have to change, what can we do? And 1 year later, you remember the history. 1 year later, we have Dresden, we have Leipzig. So if the time is coming, and I feel that a little bit, it is coming because people don't like anymore to give their money to those big companies and all that subject. If time is coming, and the time has to come, we have worked for that, then it will run. And then suddenly the system is blown up. And this system too, which we are talking about.
Yes, please.
Hi, you mentioned that you had 300 screenings across Germany, and I'm just curious about, is that just sort of through a theater chain, or are there community organizers and discussions involved with them? Do you create a kind of a kit for discussion? I was wondering where the initiative comes for those screenings.
Yeah, the film is supported. You mean the film is supported by a lot of people. Without them, we couldn't do it. It's a very expensive film. I mean, it's looking. Perhaps I hope you have enjoyed it. So we have these sponsors and supporters and all that. A broad system. You could buy, let's say, symbolic pieces of the film from 1,000 euro up. From this is one part. The other part is that this movement, this green movement, yeah. This is existing. Even some of them are in the moment frustrated because our actual government is a little bit, let's say, lazy. Yeah, they are very close to this lobby parts where you're talking about. Yeah, but we have an election 1 year, and so sometimes it needs patience. But this film is supported by lots of groups. I think more than 270 round table people, yeah, which from church, from small electric companies and all that. This is the support. They invite the film to their cinemas. And this is surely one reason why this is such a broad spread all over Germany. Yeah. It is, and it is the interest in the media is very big for that. Yeah, perhaps because we are just now focused on this refugee subject in Germany. You know that we have really. They say that we have problems. In reality, we don't have problems because this is a big country and we have enough space and enough money to invite those people. But the media focus is. Once is part of very focused on it, and so perhaps it was the right time to show that the real subjects in the world are a little bit different. Yeah, are this because I mean, is this about survive? The film is about surviving. It is, we have 8 big crises. We have this refugee problem. We have this atomic, which is then terrorist problem too. The nuclear problem is a terrorist problem. Yeah, my country, my neighborhood country is France. They're dependent totally. Nearly 80% of the energy comes out from nuclear power plants. More than 50 nuclear power plants, and they are close. The IS is very close to them. And who can fly into a big skyscraper can take a nuclear power plant too, and then we will have a change. But this is totally, we have to fight against that. This is the reason to change. We have to do it preactive. That's the answer to that. We are surprised. We are very surprised that this film is running so long in Germany. 7 months, and it is invited to Mexico, Kuala Lumpur, United States, France. We will have a distribution in France, Austria, Switzerland. So it seems to be a subject which is close to the people.
Not commercial releases, grassroots. Commercial release as well. So grassroots, commercial, broadcast, and possibly in the school system as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is in Cineplex cinemas. The cinema distribution is not grassroots, it is broad. If not, you cannot have, let's say, such a lot of screenings and not such a lot of people. No, the German television will broadcast it. Did I tell that this other film, The Fourth Revolution, was translated into 28 languages, and it was shown around the world, and we didn't count, but after 10 million viewers in television, it was aired in Russia, for example, and broadcasted in Russia. Yeah, I don't believe that this film will broadcast it in Russia, but we'll see.
I'll just tell a nice story about that screening at the Granville 7. David Cadman was there. He was a city councillor at the time, and I don't know if it ever happened, but he was impressed with the film, and he asked you if he could take the film to the mayor's conference in Cancun, where he was about to go, and show it to the 1,000 mayors and councillors who were going to be there. Did that ever happen? Was it possible?
Not that one, but these mayor contacts are still existing. Not at that one, because I think it was too late or something, of organizing something. But it's a good idea to restart that again, because it is, of course, it is a subject which is the main subject is decentralization, and that means starting up from a personal decision. Yeah, like this poor man, Lutz Machalowski, which I like very lot. Yeah, he was in a total crisis in his life, and then he detected this possibility, to help other people to economize money by economizing energy, and so starting from that, starting from families, and you too. Everybody has. That's why we call it energy rebellion. I mean, to refine, to detect again this personal rebellion in the heart. This is a very wonderful situation. Yeah, haven't there been in a former time, perhaps, where we were really fighting for our rights? Yeah. Wake up, stand up, That's what I mean.
Okay, a couple of questions. We'll go here and then here, please. Yes.
Thanks very much for your film. I noticed at the very outset of your film, it says this film was produced with 0 emissions.
Yes.
Which I've never seen on a film before. How did you achieve that?
Carl, well, please repeat the question and maybe mention the event you'll be speaking at. Or I will do that. Repeat the question.
I flew here. I have to fly there. Yeah, and you can balance it. Perhaps there's companies who where you pay money. I paid, I think, or the VIFF did that. And to rebalance it. Yeah, you calculate your personal footprint. By the way, mine is fortunately very close, very near, because I have this plus energy house and this car, and this can be done in a film too. Yeah, it's very difficult to really economize it. You can work for that. For example, you don't use plastic and all those subjects, and we invite every time this crew, and a film crew is really strange, I tell you. Yeah, but wherever we could, we invited them to. Or we gave them, what can they do? Vegetarian food, yeah? I think in the evening, perhaps, when they were free, they ate meat. And so it was rebalanced. By some thousand euro or the dollars which were paid for that. And that's why it's like that. Yeah, so we did not use, let's say, electric cars, but that does not exist. For that purpose, we needed three trucks. Yeah, this is a documentary film, but we had a crew of 10 persons for 5 months to film. Yeah, so but you can do it like that, and that's why we are allowed officially. Yeah, by this was checked to tell this is a zero CO2 emission, a CO2 film.
May I add? So the point I was going to make is that question being the green credit at the beginning. So we weren't quite sure whether Carl would be able to join us because it was a very complicated flight, but you are here, and one of the things, you're a late addition to a panel on this question of greening film production. So there will be a discussion that Carl will participate in that is about the greening of the industry, and this is worldwide, what the city of Paris is doing, what studios like Sony are doing. It's a growing movement, and it's important to Vancouver. Vancouver is actually a bit of an industry leader in this front, but a lot more can be done. And do you remember when that session is, Carl? I'm sorry, I don't.
The next screening will be at Thursday and this Friday.
Not the screening, but
yeah.
The seminar you're speaking.
The seminar at Friday morning. Friday morning, and I think it seemed to be very interesting. I was happy that they invited me, and I would like to tell you. I mean, what does it mean this decision? Is it only a word? But for example, I decided I did a tour in Germany, 96 cities. I decided to do this with zero emissions. Yeah, so we took only electric car. I mean, zero emission is if you take the electric mixture, which is 66 nuclear and coal again. Yeah, if I take the electricity from my roof, it is zero. But apart from that, okay, yeah. But I took the electric car, or Tesla. Another one is quicker to rent it, and the railway. And it was a very interesting experience for me. Yeah. So at last Friday, I was invited to do a TED talk in a city in Germany. Then I went to London by train. That was 8 hours, but I relaxed. Really, it was very nice. Then I went from London to Luxembourg by train. Then I went from Luxembourg to Paris by train, and then I entered. So I mean, clear. Of my company, when we are doing the food, the lunch for us, we are cooking for us. Yeah. Always two people, especially the young boys who are, let's say, in a trainee program. For them, it's a very interesting experience. That they learn, do the kitchen, and this is vegetarian. Yeah, this is by a regional farmer. We get the food from a regional farmer. It's very easy. In fact, it is easy, and you don't need more money. And I tell you, it is a better life. That's what I mean in the normal life. Yeah, so there are lots of examples what you can do. You saw the most interesting, I believe, we have selected, but there are hundreds of possibilities really to do by people themselves. If they decide, I will be a part of this changing.
Do you still feel hopeful?
Me?
Although there's economic pressures for reduction.
Yeah. Sometimes in those screenings which I talked about, very often there are still people, who are frustrated because they are working in it a long time. Yeah, it's clear. Yeah, but and then because of this government, they always focus the government. Yeah, the mistakes of the government. Yeah, this new law, we have a new law, this feed-in tariff law has stopped. Yeah, and I say, okay, there are two possibilities. Yeah, either let's say you opposite against that. No, either you don't take it for yourself because it is not only the law can influence your doing, or you change the government. Yeah, so this is all 4 years you have the possibilities. Now, me personal, I have 27 years. 27 years I'm doing films like that, and up from 20 years I'm doing films about ideas and visions. I'm a little bit, let's say, perhaps focused on those ideas, but it is, I see the reality. That's perhaps why you said a little bit, no, I'm sure that we will win. The question is, that's what Eddie Krauss said, do we have enough time? Yeah, isn't it that we have to, let's say, to push it a little bit? Yeah, because we have more than 28 million refugees by climate already. Yeah, and this is one part. The other is that, for example, solar cells are getting cheaper and cheaper. Yeah, in 2 or 3 years, a solar cell on the roof will be cheaper than the roof itself. Really, yeah. And so I'm sure that the decision will be in the next 15, 20 years. We are in a time where there's just something hotter and hotter, even the discussions too, yeah. And if we don't act, we will have, let's say, real problems. But at the same time, we have the possibilities to act. And that's when I remember this Chernobyl time, where I was in this opposition too. We said, okay, solar cells, solar power, and this was a little bit a lie, because in that time, 30 years ago, yeah. But now we really have it. Yeah, we have the possibilities to use those subjects. We have these cars, we have wind turbines, we have storage systems. Yeah, we have everything we have. Yeah, the only thing is, okay, let's do it. Yeah, I repeat a little bit. Huh?
There's a question up top, please.
We just built a passive house in Vancouver 5 years ago, and we finished it last year. There are now 2 other passive houses in Vancouver since then, and we understand there are 2 more waiting for permits. And Vancouver House, which is a large building at the bottom of House Street, is apparently using some passive house principles. So these are 5 houses in one building that we know about. There's virtually no incentive for pioneering this kind of thing in this city. So I think that my question to you, and I'd like to reinforce the idea that because we're fighting for our global life, so whether you're in Germany and we are here, how possible is it for you to send a free copy, if you can manage it, to our named Green Mayor of Vancouver?
Very good.
Premier of our province and our federal Prime Minister.
Good. To the mayor of the city.
Yes.
Of course.
Let me just, I'll just put that in context that 5 is a very, very low number for a city of this size.
Only 5?
5.
It's way more.
So,
Way more.
way more.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
because you don't get the
okay.
And actually, passive house is coming very quickly into building code.
Okay, so some differences of opinion or perhaps not shared understanding of what incentives are provided by the city here. But turning to the point for you, Germany has how many passive houses, and is this something that is becoming more and more common now? So can you maybe just comment on the situation in Germany?
Yeah, we have at first we have laws which means that we have to decrease the energy consumption of a house. Yeah, and this is one of the questions. This is working, yeah, and so it is nearly. I mean, the law is not passive house standard, yeah, but the law is very low energy consumption standard. The law, and law is always very slow, yeah. But I mean, it is a question of money too, yeah. If you calculate, you will buy, you will build up a passive house, and this is a movement which is very good running in Germany. Yeah, perhaps not passive houses, but nearly passive houses. Yeah, my house is plus energy house. It produces more energy than it uses because of this roof. We have 9,000 kilowatt hours, and I only use 2,800 kilowatt hours in a 4-person family. Yeah, so and this is, but this can be done by everybody. Now, this is some, I mean, economizing, perhaps it is a little bit in German mentality, energy efficiency, I mean, to be smart on that. We see that in companies, and even the car companies, Mercedes and all that, and even Volkswagen, I guess, yeah, they wake up, and because of this Elon Musk, yeah, he pushed them. Yeah, I just had a talk with a member of the high standard member from Daimler, yeah, because they have a new green, yeah, let's say CI, yeah, and this was very interesting. It's not only greenwashing. Yeah, the car question, for example, yeah, this will perhaps reach most people, yeah, because an electric car is unbelievably good, and it only consumes 20%, only consumes 20% of the energy compared with fossil. With his 34,000 kilometers I drove with this car, I paid 789 euros, which is around about, let's say, $1,000 for the 34,000 kilometers. It is because electricity is cheap, and very often you can, in hotels or wherever, you put it in, and it is, yeah. And when I'm at home, I take that from my passive house, from the roof, and this is starting. There's a change starting, and you see Canada perhaps is a problem because you have a very huge, wonderful, huge country, but in Europe we have this distance. It's 90% of the moving of cars is below 100 kilometers. Yeah, and the car recharges. My car recharges for 150 kilometers. Recharges in 35 minutes. With these power stations, yeah. Everybody says 8 hours. No, you go there, put in, drink a coffee, and then you move on. And this is such a good idea that I'm sure from that this can reach people more than getting vegetarian.
Yes.
I have a point to make, I guess, rather than a question. I keep hearing critical mass. I've been hearing it for 30 years, okay, on everything.
Yes.
The spiritual enlightening, I think that what we need is incentives to reward people, not laws to punish them, but incentives to encourage them. So, for instance, if you use less energy, you should be able to pay less tax, or you should get a tax write-off or something. And then
everyone hears this.
And then, you see, it's the people then having power. But it is a reward system for honoring the fact that we need to keep our world for our grandchildren and our children. So I want incentives to encourage people rather than laws to punish them.
Maybe I can put that in the form of a question. It was a comment on the virtue of incentive programs. So can we ask you what have been the most meaningful incentive programs in Germany for more green way of life, in your view?
Yes, this was this feed-in tariff law. And the story of this feed-in tariff law was that the people decided really to change the government. This was in 2000. Yeah, but there we have the election, and then the Red-Green Party got the power. Yeah, and in this former film, we had one member of parliament, Hermann Scherer, who was one of the voters for that. And the idea of this feed-in tariff law was like everywhere, you get fixed money when you sell the electricity coming out of renewable energies into the grid. Yeah, I decided that in 2003, and I got 52 till now. I got 52 cents the kilowatt hours if I sell it, and this is a very good deal, you know. And of course, it has decreased now. Yeah, because it's getting very much cheaper, this was surely one of the reasons where, let's say, not at all green people yeah, invested in that. And okay, the main subject is that they invested. Yeah, and that's now together with others, with other ideas and let's say mentality, we have more than 2 million investors in Germany who put in 95% of the money for this replacing of fossil fuels, fossil and atomic, I told before. The 33% of electricity coming out produced by renewable energies is a part of this, let's say, moving of people or rebellion. Yeah. If they wouldn't have done it, it wouldn't exist, because those big companies, they only invested 5% till now. Yeah, it is, and that's why it was so dangerous. Yeah, not to be ironic, it was really dangerous if people really do that. That's why they changed the law, because this Mr. Schmidt, who is looking, let's say, a little bit normal, yes, he is a very dangerous person. He has direct contact to the Chancellor, to Angela Merkel, and he tells her, okay, this is too expensive and whatever. So yeah, so this lobby subject is one of the biggest problems we have in Germany, but surely here too. Yeah, the power of I have not right calculated this, or we all. The power of those very rich companies is unbelievably big. It is, if not, because I mean, tell me a reason not to do that. Yeah, it is only because they lose money, and this situation we have. They really lose, and the car companies getting problems and all that. Yeah, but this we have to. I mean, we said we have to stand. Yeah, and then it will go. Yeah, but that change that needs, sometimes it needs a change. It needs a change of government too. Yeah, but I have heard you're on the way. Huh? I mean, Canada is a little bit on the way, isn't it? No, it is.
Sam, it's hard to tell.
And yourself, yes, so clear.
Okay. But this is a very helpful discussion, and of course, most importantly, to see your film with all this good information. So thank you so much for making it and taking it abroad.
Okay. Now, the last thing, what I would like to add, only a last word. It is more a question of the heart and of emotions than of the head. It is a question of, in last situation, it's a question of love too. Thank you very much.